There are movie monsters that become famous, and then there are the ones that becomes legends. For decades, the Predator was exactly that, a shadow in the trees, a perfect hunter, a creature built to turn survival into nightmare. But when the franchise started getting lost in weak sequels and loud action movies, something unexpected happened. A new Predator movie showed up. No huge marketing, no crazy explosions, no trying too hard to copy the original, just blood, silence, and the hunt. This is the story of Prey, the movie that made Predator scary again and proved that even after more than 30 years, something is still watching from the dark. At a time when a lot of franchises survive mostly because of nostalgia, Prey came out quietly and ended up becoming one of the biggest surprises in modern science fiction. Released in 2022 by 20th Century Studios and streaming on Hulu, the movie, directed by Dan Trachtenberg, didn't try to compete with giant action scenes, shared universes, or non-stop fan service. Instead, it did something smarter. It went back to the basics. Because before all the sequels, before the alien crossovers, and before Predator became a pop culture icon, the original idea was simple: a deadly hunter versus human trying to survive. And Prey understands that better than almost every Predator movie after the 1987 classic. The story takes place in 1719, long after Arnold Schwarzenegger and his team of soldiers. This time, the main character is Naru, a young Comanche warrior played by Amber Midthunder, who wants to prove she can become a hunter in a world that constantly doubts her. That idea is what made director Dan fall in love with the project. He said the movie didn't even start as a Predator film at first. The original idea was simply about someone trying to prove themselves against an impossible enemy. Later, he realized Predator was perfect for it. And honestly, that's one of the best things about Prey. It never feels like a desperate sequel trying to set up more movies. It feels like a real story with real people. A huge reason the movie works so well is the way it uses silence and tension. Instead of explaining everything with dialogue, Prey lets the audience feel the danger. The wind moving through the grass, animals suddenly going quiet, that feeling that something is watching from far away. Visually, the movie also feels very different from most modern blockbusters. Cinematographer Jeff Cotter used natural light and wide outdoor shots to make the world feel huge and real. Many night scenes were lit mostly with fire and torches, giving everything a raw, natural look. And that changed everything. Nature isn't just the background here, it feels alive. Every river, forest, or mountain makes the hunt feel more raw and dangerous. There are no futurist cities or secret labs, just survival. One thing fans really loved was the respect shown toward Comanche culture. The production worked closely with Jane Myers, a producer from the Comanche and Blackfeet nations, to help keep the movie authentic. That's why small details feel so real: the horses, hunting tools, traditions, and even the way characters communicate with each other. The cast even recorded a full version of the movie in the Comanche language, which is something Hollywood almost never does. And then there is Amber Midthunder, who became one of the best parts of the franchise. Her character doesn't feel like an unstoppable superhero. Naru struggles, learns, fails, adapts, and grows stronger over time. That's what makes her believable. During filming, Amber trained for weeks in combats, axe throwing, and survival skills. The team even created hand signals for some hunting scenes. But the person who probably suffered the most during production was Dane DeLiegro, the actor inside the Predator suit. The suit weighed around 80 pounds, and it was made from materials that trapped heat and sweat. Many scenes were filmed in hot weather, deep forests, and difficult locations. And to make things worse, he could barely see through the mask. Basically, playing the Predator was almost as hard as surviving against one. Still, the final result became one of the scariest Predators in the series. Trachtenberg wanted this version to feel more wild and animal-like instead of just a big guy in a suit. That's why the Predator moves differently here, more aggressive, more brutal, and less human. And even though the movie uses CGI, it also relies a lot on practical effects, makeup, animatronics, and real costume. That mix makes the creature feel heavy and real. You can feel every step, every hit, every movement. And honestly, that's probably the biggest difference between Prey and some of the older sequels. While movies like The Predator try to make the story bigger and more complicated, Prey made everything simpler again. Hunter versus Prey, that's it. And sometimes simple works best. A lot of fans now consider Prey the best Predator movie since the original, and even though many people still see the 1987 film as untouchable, most fans agree on one thing: Prey made the franchise exciting again. The movie also handles fan service in a smart way. Instead of constantly throwing references at the audience, it keeps them subtle. Small connections appear naturally regarding longtime fans without distracting from the story. Because Prey understands something important, nostalgia also works if the story itself is good first. Maybe that's why the movie surprised so many people. Expectations were low, it went straight to streaming, it didn't have huge marketing, but little by little people started talking about it, and everyone kept saying the same thing: finally, Predator is scary again. And honestly, that might be the perfect way to describe it. Prey doesn't try to be the biggest movie in the franchise, it tries to be the most intense, the most human, the closest to pure survival, and that's exactly why it works. And that's the end of today's hunt. Prey proved that a franchise doesn't need to be bigger to feel dangerous again. Sometimes it just needs to remember what made it special in the first place.